Yeah, the atrocities that were being committed by that totalitarian regime, it made me mad to see women, children, old men being beat by the, not Basiji, I almost called it, that's Iran, by the Muhabbarat there, and it made me sick, because I've been to Syria, and the most friendliest people I've ever met in the world are in Lebanon and Syria, in that region.
What was he doing? What was Assad doing? Or what did you witness that he was doing to the people?
Not firsthand, but on video, my friends were telling me about kidnappings, murders, rapes. It was two kids. One was named Tamar, I believe, and it was the beginning whenever they wanted the regime to change, and those two kids were kidnapped, and they were returned to their parents. They were killed, slaughtered. I don't know if you remember that story. And it just kind of made me very angry to where I wanted to pick up arms and actually fight against people that would do that.
So you did, and
Yes.
What was it? What was it like? What was your daily routine? What did you see when you were fighting?
Daily routine was every day we'd go out and I was in Idlib first. I was in Aleppo in combat, and then I was far east, all the way almost to the Iraqi border, called Abu Kamel. I was in Al Raqqa, Deir ez-Zor, Al Rasafa is close to.
What did you see there, though? I mean, you were all over the place, but what did you witness? What atrocities?
People's houses, civilians being targeted, their houses being blown up, kids being targeted. They did it mostly from the air power. But I went.
This, I mean, this is coming out, I mean, just recently in the news about how he's been using chemical weapons. Was that true while you were there?
Yeah, I had heard that there were chemical weapons used in Aleppo when I was there. About 12 times, they said, on small scales. And but I didn't know if it was true or not, because nobody investigated it from the UN or.
So did you shoot at people while you were there? Were they your own guns? Did you buy guns while you were there? I mean, you're being accused of using weapons of mass destruction. So did you do that, and in what way?
According to the statute, yes, I did use a weapon of mass destruction, an RPG specifically. They have better firepower, and I don't know why they consider an RPG a weapon of mass destruction.
I mean, do you regret? I mean, considering everything that you've been through.
That I've been through, I have no regrets. I don't regret it. I don't regret trying to help people, you know, everybody over there that I spoke to, when I asked, what do you want? They said, all of them said, nobody, I think maybe I don't even think I ever heard anybody say they wanted Sharia law. Everybody just wanted freedom. They wanted to be like America, you know, and.
So what were you fighting for?
For them to have freedom, you know? I don't know, I've always been a patriot. Like, I went in the Army. I didn't join the Army for money or college. I mean, yeah, college money was a benefit, but I honestly wanted to serve my country. My mom's dad was in World War II, and I love my country, and I've never had I'm not a terrorist. I'm a terrorist to Bashar al-Assad. He calls me a terrorist.
But you're not a terrorist to the U.S.
No, I'm not a threat to the U.S. in any way, shape, or form.
During your time, I mean, did the CIA know that you had involvements over there in Syria? Did they ever meet with you? But did they know what you were doing?
Yes.
In what way? I mean, how did you meet with them?
Yeah, I've been in contact with a couple agents since 2008, and they've checked in with me. I've checked in with them. You know.
This is all
small
voluntary.
talk.
Voluntary contact.
Yes.
And did they help you with this cause in any way?
Yes, they told me where to get weapons in Turkey. They were funneling weapons through a Turkish guy down in southern Turkey.
So were you confused when all of a sudden one agency with the U.S. government is helping you, and then another agency comes in and arrests you?
Totally. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. I didn't know what was going on.
And so when you were sitting for the last 6 months in solitary confinement, what were you thinking? I mean, how one was helping you, one then arrested you. I mean, what thoughts were going through your head?
I felt betrayed, like my government betrayed me, you know? I mean, if they look at all the evidence and talk to all my friends, I mean, that's why I'm out today, because they know that they made a mistake, that I wasn't the guy that they thought I was. I'm not a violent extremist, a jihadist. And actually, a jihadist, people throw that word around like you're like a bin Laden. Jihad means struggle, actually. You have jihad of the tongue. Like if I try to make a point and argue with you about something, that's jihad of the tongue. And jihad is not, I mean, some people are like violent jihadists, but jihad also, you're coming to the aid of your fellow, you know, countrymen or you know what I mean? Gosh, I'm trying to, sorry, I'm getting off subject.
No, it's
maybe a
okay.
little bit.
And that weapons of mass destruction that you've admitted to using, was that a weapon that the CIA told you where to get? Was that weapon?
No, these were Russian made. Every time we won most of our battles, we'd take their weapons, of course, off the deceased soldiers. And the trucks we raided, we'd set up checkpoints. We actually caught a few members of the Shabiha, their militia. We caught a guy, and he had a gun on him, and he had a cell phone, and on the cell phone he had a picture with high-ranking members of the regime, and also some pictures of, it wasn't him, but them hitting women with cords, Syrian women.
What was the worst thing you saw over there? I mean, describe it.
It was like my first day, and I was in Azaz, and an Air Force jets were flying around, and they bombed pretty close to where my the command post was, the group I was with, Amr bin Alas Brigade, and they hit a house, and there was, we ran over there, and there was a little girl and a family, a young family, and it kind of reminded me of my niece, you know. And the backpack actually blew out the door and across the street from the force, the pink backpack. It was a Hello Kitty backpack, so it like sticks in my mind. That was probably the worst. That on my last day, my first day was pretty bad, and then my last day I lost two friends, Hassan and Yusuf. He was pretty young, he was only like 17. He had the top of his head blown off, and we brought his body to his family. The other guy who was deceased, there was 7 brothers, and they've all been fighting with the Free Syrian Army, and he was the first one to die. And that was my last day. And,
is that the last day before you were brought in to be arrested?
Before I came back to Turkey for a break, and to see about, we need medical supplies also, like antibiotics. I was trained in combat lifesaver in the Army. I know how to give IVs, basic stuff, CPR, tourniquets. And so I actually had brought my own medical stuff with some stuff, and we were out of all antibiotics and pain medication and anything. So I went to go get stuff like even batteries too for my sniper scope. The batteries were out, we couldn't get batteries for it, so.
While you were in solitary confinement, did you know of any of these talks that there was a potential war with Syria that the U.S. was about to be involved in?
Yes. I was allowed 2 hours out of my cell a day, and I would spend it watching TV, basically. That's it, for 2 hours.
You watched the news or anything?
Yeah, news mostly.
And so you were watching this go on, and what were you thinking? Were you happy that they were probably going to...
Yeah, I was very happy when I found that out, and then I was really let down whenever, I can't believe what happened to the surprise attack? I mean, I can't believe he was basically telling where they're going to bomb, what time, what weapons we're going to use, our targets. I can't believe this administration. I'm a conservative. I'm independent, but this government is, the way they're running it, I don't know. I don't agree with the liberal Democrats most of the time, so.
Are you upset that they haven't gone in yet?
Oh, yes. John McCain is 100% right, and Lindsey Graham. And they should have been long gone. I mean, not boots on the ground, definitely not. They can take out his air. They have the power to take out his air defenses, and that would help extremely. I mean, that's how they do most of the killing, is through the air with the helicopters and the MiGs,
and during solitary confinement, what did you think about mostly?
if I was ever going to be free again. I thought about my family, I mean, of course. I thought about what happened in Syria. One thing, I did not feel guilty. I didn't feel like I committed a crime ever. And usually when you do something bad and you're punished, you say, oh, I will never do that again, you know, but I felt no guilt. I didn't do anything wrong. I had no ill intent. I didn't set out to do anything illegal or bad or against my country, and I just, every day whenever I heard my cell door pop, I was just praying that that was going to be the day they'd say, hey, you're free, you know, you're getting out. And it was 6 months of hell. I was basically physically tortured because I had a root canal I needed done, and I told them about it when I first got arrested. And they kept saying, oh yeah, you'll go to the dentist next week. And then one guard told me, oh, you should have got that fixed when you were on the street. So basically, in mental abuse, they would call me, because of my charges, a couple of the guards said some, you know, derogatory things.
Like what?
One time when I first got there, I wanted to call my mom, so you have to have a PIN number. And the guard said, it's pretty expensive to call, and are you even American? Are you going to call America? You aren't allowed to make a call over to the Middle East. I said, yeah, I'm American. I'm a veteran. Last time I checked, I hope. Gosh, what was the other things? Do you remember, Mom? I told you I'm trying. Oh, and most recently, whenever I went to court, the FBI would buy me Subway and Starbucks when I went to go speak with them, which was pretty cool. They don't ever do that for anybody. And so when you go over to the courthouse, it's the U.S. Marshals take custody of you, and you're put in a cell like all day while everybody goes through court and then talks to their lawyers or whatever they're doing. And when I was gone, the guys in that cell, they knew what I was in there for and that I wasn't a terrorist. You know, everybody knew my story. It was the biggest story in Alexandria. And one of the U.S. Marshals came in there and told them, hey, you know that guy's a terrorist. He was fighting against the Americans. He's a jihadist. And they told me when I came back, and I couldn't believe it. And another thing, whenever I was leaving court, whenever I got sentenced, the U.S. Marshal, my attorney, will even agree to this. She was like pulling me away before the judge was done with me, and I thought she was joking at first, and I said, why are you pushing on me? She was like jabbing me in the side. I don't know if she was mad that I was free, because everybody there thought that I was some big terrorist, you know what I mean? And they said Al-Qaeda wanted me to be their spokesperson, or their face to the Western world, like Adam Gadon or whatever. So
prison was pretty much all.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Next, well, I'm on probation for 3 years, but with good behavior, I'll be off in 1.5 years, so I'll get a 1.5 years, more than likely. And like I said, I have to gonna enroll in some classes. For the first 100 days, I didn't even get outside to feel fresh air for 100 days. That's cruel and unusual punishment. I can't believe that I mean, just how I got treated in there by the people, you know, because of the charges and stuff, and not going outside for 100 days. It was really a horrible experience. But I kept my head up all the time. I never called and cried about it, and I knew that I was innocent, so I knew I'd be free, and I was going to take it to trial. I wasn't going to sign myself into prison. Definitely not. I knew I went to trial, I'd win, so the only reason I pled guilty is because my trial wasn't until November 5th. And if somebody says, hey, you can get out of jail tomorrow if you sign this, I think anybody would have done that in my case after being in solitary for 6 months.
But you don't feel you're truly guilty of anything?
Yes, correct. And the FBI still has not gave me back my bags, my clothes, so I had to go buy new clothes. They haven't gave me my phone, my iPad, my computer, anything. I don't know why they're still holding it or why they didn't have that for me, because they knew I was getting released.
Or?
Yeah, yes. And I guess they're going to give it back. I just don't know how I'm going to get it back. I want to file